First time I saw a Land Rover Defender, I was 17 years old. I'd gone out off-roading in a 1972 Toyota Land Cruiser. We had gone out and it was covered in mud, and we had finished for the day, and we pulled up to this gas station, and this guy pulled up in a Defender 90, and I was like, man, one day I want one of those Defenders. I instantly fell in love with that car. Land Rover, I think, is great because it has almost like a cult following.
Are we doing the hard ones?
I'm starting off on green,
okay.
and then we're gonna work
you'll
up.
come meet us, right?
Are you going on the hard ones? If you're like into Land Rovers, you don't like really toe the water into Land Rovers. You're kind of like all in into Land Rovers. When you get in a Defender, it's kind of like being in a time machine. You can tell it has more stories than you probably have. You smell a little bit of the diesel coming off the engine, the wind whistling through little places, feel the steering wheel, and there's no power steering, and you can feel these like big tires on the ground connecting with it. And it kind of rides like a tank, but there's something really awesome about that experience. You know you're in this car that's been designed to go to like the ends of the earth and back. The first time I really drove one was when I was in France. A friend of mine, he was looking for an old American pickup truck. I asked him, I said, hey, by the way, do you know anyone that has any Defenders? And he was like, yeah, it's funny that you said that. I remember seeing 15 Defenders outside this like wooden barn. And I was like, who was it? What was it? He's like, I don't know, but I know the guy the next town over that I was wakeboarding with. So this chain goes back of text, like, and it happens all within like 20 minutes, was just amazing. And this guy calls up and he's like, hey, there's this American guy here and he wants to see your Defenders. Do you care if he comes out and sees it tomorrow? And the guy was like, yeah, sure, tell him to come out. So I pull up and I come around the corner on this gravel road, and as promised, there was just 15 Defenders in all different states of repair and different body styles, different years. I walked up and I was like, man, you're living my dream just to be around all these Defenders. It was a funny response. He goes, well, I'm living my dream. I love Defenders and I only want to work on Defenders for the rest of my life. Why don't we get in one, we'll just go off-roading. We started just driving down trails through the forest in France. Driving that car was the first time I'd driven a Defender in my life. And at the end of it, I was like, man, Sven, you got to make me one of these cars. He could tell I was super passionate about this thing, so he was like, okay, I'll build one. It's going to take me 6 months, and I'm going to need your inputs on different things. And I was like, all right. And we started a relationship of building Defenders together. And it's been a fun road to go down. Having one in Kansas is fun. It was kind of scary bringing it over the first time because like you hear these horror stories of like cars getting like crushed and seized. We made sure that it like met all the requirements that it needed to, and it got loaded up in a port in France and shipped across to Virginia, and then came on Virginia like on the back of a train, and came to Kansas City where I'm at. It was like on the train for 2 weeks. Christmas kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed.
What's in the container?
Defender 110.
I think everyone has passion in their life. Life gets busy and life gets crazy, and that candle kind of dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. Sometimes taking the road that is more difficult but leads you down a path that's like true to yourself and true to your passion, like in the end pays you back an exponential reward. Sometimes I take my kids to school and it's funny, like they like the eccentricness of the car. Like they get in the far back, like where the seats are facing each other in the troop carrier, and that rear door with the tire on it's so heavy for them. The way that car is set up is the original way that's set up, and it's a right-hand drive, and it is problematic when you're going through drive-thrus and when you're trying to get like a key card to a parking lot, but you know what, that's just one of the prices you pay for it, and I'm okay with that.